right, welcome back to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Whitlock and Wiley, B.J. Armstrong, and Ric Bucher are back. Let's return to the finals, where the Warriors reportedly believe Kevin Durant tore his Achilles last night after deciding to play Game 5 with Golden State's backs against the wall. Leading up to last night, some people had been questioning Durant's commitment to the team, though now it seems pretty clear why it took him a month to come back from a calf injury. After the game, Durant's mother took his critics to task on Twitter, posting, quote, "For all of you who question my son as a man, question his heart, question his integrity, and question his love for the game of basketball, you don't know him. He has a heart of a true warrior. This too shall pass. God bless you all." All right, question here is, do you have more respect now for Kevin Durant after last night's performance? And I don't. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Kevin, but last night didn't make me have more respect for him. If anything, it makes me think that Kevin is really, really too into his critics and the noise around social media. His mom's caught up in it. It's a mistake.
Yeah, I'm with you, Whitlock, entirely. No more respect for Kevin Durant because I already fully respected him before this moment. As Klay Thompson was saying post-game, like, people are silly to still come at this guy. They don't know him. They don't know his commitment level. They don't fully respect his talent and his contributions. And I love Mama Durant, met her many a times. Sweet lady, everyone knows. But I'm mad at her right now for that mindset, because that mindset is getting lost in the sauce. I learned years ago to only count those with you, not those against you, because you're never going to be happy and you're never going to be in a situation where you win the exact absolute of everyone's desire and attention. Everyone's not on board for what you do, no matter what. The first stories of life, if you want to get biblical, it's a relative world. It's not an absolute world. You're never going to convince all. And for her to kind of dive and attack in the moment of need for your son and an emotional toll he's going through, and he's thinking about his future, and we're addressing those who weren't even there for him in the first place. That's a sad situation there. So for me, KD, stop listening to him. I know it's difficult. I'm not in your space. But who gives a damn? No matter what move you make, someone's going to resist it. So stop counting those people who are.
Yeah, he has nothing to prove to me. I admired him, and I'm probably on an island when it comes to this. I admired his move to the Golden State Warriors because he did what he chose to do. It was where he wanted to play. It was what he sought. And he knew that he was going to get a lot of flack, or he certainly should have. And he weathered that, and he succeeded. This, to me, he loses something. I don't know if it's respect, but I thought he was above it, or I thought he could be. Yeah. And now he's paying the ultimate price, because this was succumbing to the critics. This was, whether they were in the locker room or they were in the public, it was not doing what was best. It was trying to prove something to people out there that didn't need to be proved. And so ultimately, yeah, I lose something here, because I feel like he took a step back. He proved something by coming to Golden State. He proved something else to the negative by playing last night.
Well, you know, Kevin has been such a great inspiration throughout his career. I've had an opportunity to know this young man when he was a sophomore, junior in high school, so I've been able to watch his progression and how he has ascended to this level of excellence of Kevin Durant, arguably one of the great players, or the best player that's playing in the game today. But the one thing is, you got to learn how to block out the noise when you get to that pinnacle where he's at. And I think if there's anything that we can criticize, we've always seen him kind of look over his shoulder, if you will, to critics and people who criticize him. And I think you learn, you know, how to do that over time. The great ones learn how to block out the noise. And that's what you're looking for, Kevin. I think we're asking him to do something as he's learning. So, you know, he's made so much, as you mentioned earlier, Rick, you know, going from Oklahoma to Golden State was a big step for him, because winning mattered to him. Anyone that knows him knows that basketball matters to this young man. This man loves the game. And now it's, I think, really critical to his career that he moves to the next step as well.
You know who I gain admiration for is Derrick Rose, is Kawhi Leonard. is LeBron James in his way.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought he measures the game. And we're so used to guys who just compete and go to the wall. And I look at LeBron James' longevity. Maybe he was smarter than all of us. And again, you got to face that criticism at times to be able to approach it that way.
I'll say this, and I want to be careful. I don't want to drag y'all into something I may not explain here fully. But I said this years ago about the difference between Kevin Durant and LeBron James. And I mean this in the most constructive way possible to Kevin Durant, because I believe he's a good person, a smart person, very well-intentioned. But he's got to create some distance between himself and his mom. I'm just sorry. And LeBron James, years ago, and I said this is the difference. LeBron James' mother was at a game and got out of line, and LeBron told her to sit your ass down. And people criticized him for it. And I defended him. So he's at work. He's the man of the house now. He's supposed to call those shots. And that's what I wish that Kevin Durant was more comfortable with in terms of, because, and again, this is way too deep for this little small segment, but we have an issue in our community where mama's always in control. And that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's what's interesting about her speaking out here in this instance, because from what I know, he has, over the last year or so, separated and distanced himself from mama. And
I don't even want to say distance. I'm
just telling you from what I've heard.
I get, but I want to be clear to any viewers here, because we're not talking about distancing himself from his mother.
Right.
Playing his proper role and her playing her proper role with this dude in his 30s, NBA, he's the provider of the family. Again, there's a whole big war going on in America about patriarchy and matriarchy. And these games that men play, that's for patriarchs. It's not for matriarchs.
Well, I would say this, as you were saying, BJ, you got to learn to separate the signal from the noise on any level. I don't care if you're the man on the team or you're not even playing on the team. You just walk around the yard getting teased. What's real from what's fake? And I wish KD had an arrogance about him that didn't necessarily exude to others, but he felt it within. An arrogance that he felt displaced from this world. So therefore, I'm not connected to all your opinions. Let's be real about that. I can be interdependent with the world. That means I'm a part of this world, but we are not connected because our days are different. My pressures are different. So I have to stand at this different vantage point. He needs to learn what everyone needs to learn, that there's one thing in common from being selfish and selfless. It's self. Damn, this world would tell you to always care about other people first. And damn it, I tell my kids and I tell anybody who gets around me, it's you first. You got to have the capacity for anything before you can give it to others. And I think KD, it seems like at times has that reversed. That noise can't get in here if you protect your filters. But right now, it doesn't seem that way.
It's also a matter of building those filters. Who do you have around you? Who's going to support your best self? Who's going to support you in making those tough decisions? You know, I think of what you went through with Derek.
Right.
Like, you guys were separated and isolated, and you took as much heat as Derek did for the fact that he didn't play.
Exactly.
And I understood where he was, and I admired and respected that, because there was a lot of heat, and it wasn't just you're not playing. It was challenging the character of the person for what you're doing. And the easiest thing to do is to manipulate yourself to address, oh, I'll be who you want me to be. Oh, I need to play to prove to you who I am. The harder thing is to say, no, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval. I'll show it in my way.
I'm going to say the last thing, and I hate to keep going back, but someone needs to be in Kevin Durant's ear telling him what my father told me in different ways, and it's a cliche. Lions don't care about the opinions of sheep. And I'm just telling you, if Kevin wants to be a lion, because the NBA is a jungle, and you need to be a lion out there to be the best player in the world, don't care about the opinions of sheep. Don't get caught up in beauty shop conversations where everybody sits around and gossip about each other. Girl, did you hear what he said? Blah, blah. That's what all this Twitter stuff is to me. It's beauty shop conversation. You got to be a lion enough to know them is sheep talking. I'm not about that. Coming up, people were outraged when Raptors fans cheered KD's injury last night, but is the reaction being blown way out of proportion? We get into that next.